Hey everyone, Stephen Powell here. I want to tell you about a dream, a vision I had last night. I was standing there and I was watching this actor, Sylvester Stallone. Many of you know him. He had the iconic role of Rocky Balboa in that series, and Rambo, John Rambo, and several other roles down through the years. But I was watching him in this night vision, this dream, and he was drinking whiskey. He was drinking alcohol in a glass. And to my shock and horror, I looked in his glass and I saw a black scorpion inside his glass. Kid you not. And he's just drinking this drink, keeps knocking it back, and he's totally oblivious to it. Doesn't see the scorpion, doesn't see me either, because I'm freaking out. And I would have told him if he would have seen me. But anyways, he gets down to like the last drops in his glass, and he goes to knock that drink back, and that scorpion slides right into his mouth and stings him with a stinger. And he's hospitalized, and they barely get him the anti-venom in time, and it saves his life in the dream. But he's put up bedridden for weeks, recovering. But interesting, of course, this is a prophetic experience. I believe God's speaking prophetically, symbolically through it. But the interesting thing is, whenever I went and studied Sylvester Stallone this morning, I found out that he was actually born paralyzed in his face. He was born paralyzed in his mouth, just like the venom from the stinger of the scorpion brings paralysis. It's just like that. But of course, his didn't come from a scorpion in real life. It came from when he was being delivered as a baby. They took those forceps. The nurse that was delivering him took those forceps and grabbed onto his head and his jaw and used them incorrectly and ended up paralyzing him. Part of his face is paralyzed, part of his jaw, and part of his tongue is actually paralyzed. So imagine, Sylvester Stallone being someone, as a young man who's aspiring to be an actor, and, you would think an actor, that's a pretty big disability to be paralyzed in your tongue. These are actors. They depend on their ability to communicate and, to put on a performance. But imagine Sylvester Stallone. He's got this dream in his heart. He's got something that the Lord, I believe, put in his heart with Rocky Balboa, but he's got this disability. He's literally disabled. He's literally paralyzed in his tongue, in his face. His face doesn't look right, and he can't talk right. But the beautiful thing about this is, saints, is that the Lord completely used, what looked like a disability, what looked like something that was bad, something that needed to be overcome, and it actually turned out to be one of his greatest strengths. The fact that he was paralyzed like that gave him a certain look that was perfect for his tough man image, and the way his tongue was paralyzed gave him the perfect voice as well for many of the characters that he played. So it's one of those stories where God took what the enemy intended for bad, used it for good. And of course, I don't know where Sylvester Stallone is spiritually, but I believe that the Lord works in people's lives despite them, even if they're not saved. He works in people's lives in ways according to his purpose, and of course he's always drawing people to him. He's always tugging on people's souls. But what I believe the Lord is saying right now is, I believe that there's some prophetic people that have gone through a season where they've been stung, where the enemy has come and tried to bring paralysis, and not just anywhere. I'm talking about in the mouth. We just entered into this decade of the mouth. It's Pei, the symbol, the Hebrew symbol that represents this decade, the decade of the mouth. We just come out of the decade of the seer, the eye, which is seeing, and what we've seen and what we've taken in Revelation over the last decade. Now we've got to speak forth with boldness. We got to boldly decree and declare the marvelous works of God and decree and declare the word of the Lord. But the enemy has come in and has stung some people. There's been warfare, and quite frankly, there's been a season in which some people have become so battle worn, they become so scarred from battle that they don't know if they're ever going to come back. They don't know if they're ever going to be the same. And I want to tell you today, part of that's okay. It's okay if you're never the same. It's okay if you walk around with a limp the rest of your life, like Jacob did. But you know what? Jacob's name was changed from Jacob to Israel. Israel means prince with God. You may have a gimp. You may wear some of the scars of this last season in your life. But I want to tell you, I believe that God's taken some prophetic people that have been stung and that have been paralyzed and have been mercilessly attacked by the enemy. And I believe he's raising them up as Israel's right now in this time. What the enemy intended to paralyze you with and disable you with, God is going to turn it around and actually make it work to your benefit. He's going to take your voice and make it so iconic. He's going to take what the enemy intended for damage and he's going to turn that pain into power in this next season. So if there's some prophetic people out there that this relates to. You've been through a season where you've been under attack. I pray this is encouraging to you. What you need to do is you need to open up your mouth. Never let the enemy paralyze you in such a way where you shut your mouth. That's why Jezebel wars against prophetic people so much. She wants to shut the mouths of the lions. She wants to shut the mouths of the prophets. But don't let her do it. Open up your mouth, declare the word of the Lord by faith, and he will put his word in your mouth. God bless you. Hey, my name is Stephen Powell, and I want to thank you for watching this video on my YouTube channel. Go ahead and click the button right here, and you can subscribe to our channel so you get new videos as they come available. And also, you can go ahead and watch another video right now if you click this button over here. God bless you.